Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Vishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. So today is the seventh and the last part of our Bhagavad Saptaha Ayojan, 7-day discussion on the prayers of Queen Kuntī. Last evening we were discussing on text 36. So we have about 6 or 7 verses to be covered today, spanned over 3 different themes. So the first theme for tonight's discussion, text 36 and 39, both of them have a common theme, that is the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. This is 37, the one before this, 36. So 36 and 39 have the common theme of the lotus feet of Krishna. So we will first chant both the text, the Sanskrit, and then we will have a brief discussion. That's the first theme of tonight's discussion, and then we'll move to the next one. So let's chant. We'll chant together, 36 and 39. Shrunvanti gayanti granantyabhikšnashah smaranti nandanti tavehita jana ta eva pasyantyachirena tavakam bhava pravaho paramam padambhujam. And 39. Neyam shobhishyate tatra yathedanim gadadhara Tvatpaderankita bhati swalakshana vilakshitai. Queen Kuntī is glorifying Sri Krishna's lotus feet. In text 36, she mentions Shrunvanti, Gayanti, Grinhanti. Shrunvanti means to hear. Gayanti means to sing. Grinhanti means to accept. Shrunvanti, Gayanti, Grinhanti. If someone hears about Krishna, listens to the messages of Krishna, Gayanti, chants the holy name, sings kirtan, preaches and speaks about Krishna, and most importantly, Grinhanti, first of all accepts that in one's life. And Smaranti, remembers Krishna. And Nandanti, happily does it. The person is happy and makes others happy. Srila Prabhupada said, the happy devotee is the best preacher. We don't want to be preaching and speaking about Krishna and be miserable ourselves. Right? We want to be enthusiastic. We want to be happy. How can we say, chant Hare Krishna and be happy? But if someone is chanting and hearing with joy, the face is the index of the mind. So if someone is happy to hear about Krishna, happy to sing about Krishna, happy to speak about Krishna, doesn't matter whether it's 5 people under a tent or 500 or 700 under a tent, with the same intensity, because it doesn't matter whether it's 5 or 50 or 500. If the intensity is to please Krishna, the desire is to please Krishna, the person will always be ecstatic. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while speaking to Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai, in Jagannath Puri. There were only two in a small room. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so happy. How ecstatic was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It is described Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu while speaking about Krishna. He would come in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And he would tell Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai, my eyes want to see Krishna. What does Mahaprabhu say? He says, my eyes are so eager, they want to pop out and run to find my Shyamasundar. But as the eyes are getting greedy to see Krishna, the nostril gets greedier. And the nostril says, wait a minute. You can see him, but before that, let me smell the bodily aromatic fragrance coming from his body. The mixture of sandalwood paste, aguru, and musk, and camphor, and the intoxicating fragrance from the whirl of the night blooming lotus flower. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Krishna's bodily complexion is intoxicating for my eyes, and Krishna's bodily aromatic fragrance is intoxicating for my nostrils. My eyes are fighting my nose. Think about it. There is no outside competition. There's no external competition. The competition is within. Have you heard motivational speakers saying, don't compete outside, compete with yourself? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that 550 years ago. His senses were fighting each other. His eyes wanted to see Krishna, the beautiful basket of lotus flowers, that is Krishna. His face is a lotus flower. His eyes are lotus flowers. His palms are lotus flowers. His navel is a lotus flower. His lotus feet are lotus flowers. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart desires to embrace Krishna. As Amarendraprabhu used to say, eye to eye, cheek to cheek, heart to heart, embrace to Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's eyes want to see Krishna, nose wants to smell Krishna, the heart wants to embrace Krishna, the tongue wants to chant the names of Krishna, and the ear wants to hear the flute sound of Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is holding the hand of Swarup Damodar on one side and Ramananda Rai on the other, and he's saying, O Swarup Damodar, O Ramananda Rai, my 5 senses are like 5 horse riders, and my mind is a horse. Can you imagine 5, or should I say camel riders here? But Mahaprabhu says horse riders. Imagine having 5 riders on a horse, on a single horse, and they're all trying to take the horse in 5 different directions. What happens to the horse? The horse collapses. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my mind is a horse, and my 5 senses are like horse riders, sitting on the horse of my mind and competing with one another. Who is going to reach Krishna first? And in this transcendental competition, the horse of my mind collapses, and Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Rai, this is why I fall unconscious, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains. So Queen Kuntī explains, those who have taste to hear about Krishna, Shrunvanti, Gayanti, to speak about Krishna, Grinnanti, to practice in one's life, and happily remember Krishna, those are the devotees, Pashyanti, those who will see Krishna's lotus feet in their heart. Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say, don't try to see God, but act in such a way that God wants to see us. And what is that way? This is that way. Queen Kuntī says 5 things. Hear about Krishna, sing about Krishna, practice the principles of bhakti, remember Krishna, and most importantly, happily do it. Don't do it, we shouldn't be doing it because I have to. What to do? I have taken these vows which are like a burden on my shoulder. I have to, or I should, I ought to. What would people think? I am initiated, what if I don't? But there should be a point where Queen Kuntī says, happily, Nandanti, we are happy and anybody who comes in touch with us becomes happy. That is the best preaching. Preaching is not about words. Preaching is actually a 24-hour activity. But sometimes we have to open our mouth. Sometimes. Most of the time, it is our enthusiastic, ecstatic, selfless demeanor which touches hearts. Words which come from the head reaches the head. And the words which come from the heart reach the heart of the listener. Queen Kuntī says, those who are happily performing bhakti, Krishna wants to find such Vaishnavas. And therefore, he comes and gives darshan. Now Queen Kuntī is thinking, Neyam shobhishyate tatra. She says, but I never remembered you, my Lord. Is that true? Is it true that Queen Kuntī never remembered Krishna? But this is the nature of love. You ask a mother if she has properly ever served her child, she will always say a no. She lives for her child, but then she will always say, I wish I did more. I wish I was a better mother. Why? Because it is the nature of selfless, unconditional love that we are satisfied, but we are never satiated. We want to do more. So Queen Kuntī says, I never remembered you, my Lord. I never chanted about you. I never sung about you. But you're still so kind to live with us for so many years. Now that you're leaving, I will never be able to see your lotus feet. And the kingdom that you've given my sons will be bereft of your lotus footprints. Krishna's lotus feet, my Guru Maharaj explains, when Krishna appeared in this world, he stole the tongues of the poets. I'll repeat that. My Guru Maharaj says, when Krishna appeared in this world, he stole the tongues of the poets. Which means the poets were constantly singing and reciting poems about Krishna. And when you speak about a very exalted person in Vedic culture, you never name them. You always say, His Grace, Param Pujyapad, or His Holiness, etc. And a way to refer to Krishna is through his lotus feet. So when they say lotus feet, serving the lotus feet, remembering the lotus feet, seeing the lotus feet, that actually means serving Krishna. How amazing it is. The water that has touched Krishna's lotus feet becomes the Ganga. Lord Shiva values it so much that he keeps it on the top of his head and never lets go of Ganga. In fact, there's a very great poet by the name Kalidas. And he writes poetically, one time in Lord Shiva's house, there was a fight. Mother Parvati, she raised the red flag and she told Lord Shiva, I am not liking this, that another woman is staying in our house. Lord Shiva said, what do you mean? There is no other woman. Whom are you talking about? You're the only lady. Mother Parvati said, what about Ganga? What about Ganga? And Mother Parvati said, I serve you as your wife, and I am always at your lotus feet, O Lord Shiva, but you are at the lotus feet of Ganga. You have placed her feet on the top of your head. Lord Shiva said, no, I don't see her as a woman. She is Charanamrit, sacred sanctified water which has touched the lotus feet of Krishna. And anything that is connected to Krishna's lotus feet, Lord Shiva said, is worshipable for all of us. Now if you see Krishna's lotus feet, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has said something fabulous. How many of us have heard of the Triveni Sangam, the meeting of the three holy rivers? And what are those three rivers? Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. And what are the colors? Ganga traditionally flows white. Yamuna, black. Saraswati, reddish. That's right. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pada explains, Krishna's lotus feet is the actual Triveni Sangam. Because the complexion on the top is dark, reminding us of the Yamuna. The nails on Krishna's toes are brilliantly effulgent and white in complexion like the Ganga. So the skin color is dark, reminding us of Jamuna. The effulgence of the toenails are white and brilliantly radiant like the Ganga. And you know, in the Triveni Sangam, Ganga and Yamuna meet, but Saraswati is hidden and she's reddish. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, the hidden part is under Krishna's feet. That is the soul, and that is reddish. He explains, Krishna's lotus feet is actually the meeting of three rivers. The dark complexion Yamuna on the top, the brilliantly effulgent toenails in the form of Ganga, and the hidden red color in the form of Saraswati. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has also said something fabulous here. He said there's another mystery as to why the sole of Krishna's feet are reddish. He explains, Krishna is the epitome, Krishna is the personification of soothing rejuvenation. Chandanam Shitalam Loke Chandanad Api Chandrama Chanda Chandranayor Madhye Shitala Sadhu Sangati. Shastra explains, in this world, Chandanam Shitalam Loke, sandalwood is cooling. But more cooling than sandalwood, Chandanad Api Chandrama, are the moonbeams. But Chandra Chandanayor Madhye, if sandalwood is cooling, moonbeams are more cooling, but more cooling than moonbeams and sandalwood pulp, Shitala Sadhu Sangati. It is the association of pure-hearted devotees. Why? In their association, even the fire of the heart in the form of lust and greed is completely pacified, which sandalwood paste and moonbeams cannot. And can you imagine if all these sadhus take shelter of Krishna's feet, how cold would Krishna's feet be? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has poetically explained, Krishna's lotus feet is so cold that the sun god has felt completely ashamed. He feels very shy. How can I rise in a place which is so cold? And therefore, to accept defeat, Surya Dev, with his brilliantly effulgent light, what color light comes out of Surya Dev's personality? Red. Surya Dev's chariot driver is called Aruna. And in Sanskrit, Aruna also means the red color. So it's almost like in the early morning, the dawn when the sun rises, the sky gets painted red, almost to say that before Surya Dev comes in, his chariot driver comes in first. So Surya Dev, the sun god, with his chariot driver Aruna is the chariot driver, but Aruna also means red. They have completely surrendered to Krishna's feet. And therefore the soul of Krishna's feet are completely Aruna or red. That Krishna, your feet are so cold and so soothing that I, Surya Dev, completely take shelter of your feet. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, therefore the soul of Krishna's feet are completely reddish. He gives another interpretation. He says when Krishna was dancing on the hoods of Kaliya, Vilokya dushitam Krishnam Krishna Krishna hina vibhuhu. When Krishna was dancing on the hoods of Kaliya, it is explained by our acharyas that Kaliya had red rubies on top of his head. What colored rubies? Red colored rubies. So Kaliya, on the top of his hoods, he had the ornament of the red rubies. And it's described when Krishna was dancing, by the touch of those red rubies, Krishna's soul, the soul of Krishna's feet became reddish by the color of the rubies. But other acharyas say, wait a minute. On top of Kaliya's head were white pearls. And because the soul of Krishna's feet are naturally red, by the touch of Krishna's red soul, lotus feet, the white pearls on top of Kaliya's head seem like red rubies. Who can say Krishna Bhakti and Krishna Katha is stagnant? Oh, it moves like an ocean. Hari Katha moves like waves on the ocean. जाओ भागवत पढ़ो वैष्णवेर स्थाने, एकांत आश्रय करो चैतन्य चरणे, चैतन्यर भक्तगण नित्य करो संग, तबे तो जानिबे सिद्धांत समुद्र तरंग. Kaviraj Goswami says, Hari Katha is like an ocean, where at every step there are waves. Sometimes there are high tides of joy, and sometimes there are low tides of separation. And sometimes there's splashing of water in the form of ecstatic symptoms. And sometimes there are little ripples on the surface in the form of transient emotions. And in the ocean of Hari Katha, the pure Vaishnavas, who are like golden fishes, they keep swimming for all times to come. This is why it's described in Goloka Vrindavan. Every word is a song. Hari Katha is poetic, supremely poetic. So Kunti Devi says, this divinely beautiful, effulgent lotus feet, Krishna, if you go to Dwaraka, we will miss seeing these lotus footprints. These lotus footprints of Krishna are so dear to the Brajbasis. Chalasi yad brajat charayan pashun nalina sundaram nathate padam. The gopis are saying, O Krishna, chalasi yad brajat charayan pashun nalina sundaram nathate padam. Krishna, our heart breaks. Your two divinely soft, beautiful, lotus, petal-like lotus feet. They are like blue lotus flower on the top and pink lotus flower on the bottom. And a row of white jasmine buds in the form of toenails. The gopis are saying, Krishna, your lotus feet follows the cows, and the cows follow the grass. So there's grass, which is chased by the cows, and the cows are followed by Krishna. So the gopis are saying the cows have their own cow hoof prints and hoofs. So when the cows and the calves, they jump between rocks to get the sprouts and the shoots and the blade of grass, they don't get hurt. But the gopis are saying, oh Krishna, when you walk behind the cows, which are finding these grass between the rocks, they don't get hurt, but we are scared. Your two divine lotus feet may get scratched. Therefore, O Krishna, yatte sujata charanam buruham sthaneshu, our eternal desire is, may we have the fortune to keeping your lotus feet on the lotus of our hearts, so that we protect your lotus feet and they never get hurt. But there's an inner meaning to this prayer. Ahushchate nalina nabha padar vindam yogaishwarai ridi vichintya magada bodai samsara kupa patito taranavalampham gehe jusham api manasyu diyat sadanaha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted the same sentiment to Jagannath in Jagannath Puri. And he said, O Krishna, O Jagannath, your lotus feet are so tender, and they are running behind the cows who are running behind grass. But the cows have hoofs, they don't get hurt, but your feet may get hurt. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, O Jagannath, may I place your lotus feet in my heart. Then it's almost like Jagannath asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where is your heart? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Anne Hridayaman Moraman Vrindavan Manavana Ekakori Jani. Oh Jagannath, my heart is Vrindavan. So if you really want to place your lotus feet in the lotus of my heart is Vrindavan, which means, oh Jagannath, oh Krishna of Dwaraka, please come back to Vrindavan. This is poetry. Instead of saying, oh Jagannath, come to Vrindavan. Paroksha vadam ati priyam. You see, in Goloka Vrindavan, nobody walks up to someone and say, I love you. Never. If they love someone, then they will walk up to that person, criticize that person, tease that person, play with that person, live with that person, and cannot live with that person. But they will never say, I love you. It's never direct. It's always by the hidden hints, the riddles, the jokes, the stories, the puzzles. And they will never look eye to eye. Radha and Krishna will never look eye to eye. It's always from the corner of one's eyes. Kripa Kataksha. And hints are given from the corner of one's eye. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, instead of saying, Oh Jagannath, oh Krishna of Dwarka, please come to Vrindavan, we are waiting. He doesn't say that. He says, Oh Krishna, you're running behind cows. I am scared your feet may get scratched. Therefore, I want to place your lotus feet. The lotus of my heart. And you know where my heart is? Oh Krishna of Dwarka, my heart is in Vrindavan. So therefore, you please place your feet in Vrindavan. And Vrindavanam parityajya sa kvachin naiva gacchati. Please never leave Vrindavan. Don't go to Dwaraka, O Jagannath. This is the glory of Krishna's soft lotus feet. Even the cows in Vrindavan, they are so careful. They will never step over Krishna's footprint. If Krishna walks, millions and millions of cows and calves, and they all have 4 feet. We can do the math. And they're all walking constantly in Vrindavan with tinkling bells around their neck. Constantly walking in Vrindavan. And they look at Krishna's footprint. The size of Krishna's feet with all the signs and symbols. And the imprint, the depression in that sand is so dear to the cows that the cows and calves come there and they start crying and they fill up the pond of the depression of Krishna's footprint with the loving flow of their tears. But they will never step over. In fact, one great poet in Vrindavan, Brajbasi, in the line of Shripad Vallabhacharya, by the name Surdas, Netrahin Surdas, he writes in a Braj Bhasha poetry. He says, if the whole earth can be compared to a woman, Bhumi Devi, if the whole planet of Mother Earth can be compared to a woman, then he says, Vrindavan is the forehead. And if Vrindavan is the forehead, then Krishna's footprint is the sindoor. Just like the red vermilion sindoor means culture in Vedic culture. It shows connection to one's husband. Similarly, Surdas explains, for Bhumi Devi, who is the wife of Krishna in the Varaha incarnation, for her, her body is the planet, though the planet is the body, and Vrindavan is the forehead, and Krishna's footprints are her sindoor. How sweet, how beautiful. Yad Devaki Padambuja Labdha Lakshmi Govinda Venum Anumatta Mayura Nrityam Prekshadri Sanbhavaratanya Samasta Sattvam. The gopis have explained, O Krishna, Vrindavan has become beautified by your lotus footprints. Can you imagine that day when Akrura actually entered Vrindavan from Mathura, and as he was entering, he saw the imprints of Krishna and Srimati Radharani's lotus footprints in the dust of Braj? How ecstatic. Think about it. Think if we have a chance to go to Vrindavan and take all the things that we see in Vrindavan, let's take all of that out. Let's take all the shops away. Let's take all the internet connections, the cell phone towers, everything out. Let's take all the cars and all the buildings, all the residential complex out. And you enter Vrindavan, and it's a forest, not of buildings, but a forest of trees. Beautiful, wonderful, flowering, blossoming vines. Wonderful description of peacocks, cuckoo birds, and so many intoxicated parrots singing the glory of Radha and Krishna. Radhesham! 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 The birds are screaming the names of Radha and Krishna. And the peacocks are dancing. All the different birds, all the different leaves, the trees, the creepers, the animals, the deer, they're all intoxicated. And imagine you get a chance, you and I, we all get a chance in the association of like-minded devotees to sit in that sacred golden dust on the banks of the Jamuna. And there we find the depression of the footprint of Krishna with a flower garland around, which is fragrant with the fragrance of Krishna's bodily odor, Krishna's aroma. Can you imagine? The heart will be jumping out of our body. If Krishna's footprints is right here, Krishna must be around. Akrura enters Vrindavan and he sees these beautiful footprints of Radha and Krishna. And it's described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Akrura jumps out of the chariot and he starts offering obeisances and takes the dust, smears it all over his body, crying and weeping, Vrindavan, 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 I have finally come to Vrindavan. How amazing. Queen Kuntī, she's after glorifying the foot dust, the footprint, the lotus feet. She says, "Oh Krishna, now you leave us and you go to Dwaraka. Never again will our kingdom be decorated, ornamented, smeared with the dust of your lotus feet. Please don't leave us. Your lotus feet means everything to us." So Krishna looks at Queen Kuntī. Change of verse, so there's a scene that we are creating. Queen Kuntī, she told Krishna, "Your lotus feet means everything to me." So Krishna said, "Only my lotus feet? What about my glancing? You can see the lotus at my feet. What about the lotus of my eyes?" So then Queen Kuntī, she changes the topic and starts glorifying Krishna's glancing. Text 38 and text 40. Let's look it up. Text 38 and text 40. Let's chant together. This is 40. We'll take 38 first. That's right. Let's go together. Kevayam nama rupabhyam yadubhi sah pandava bhavato darshanam yarhi rishikanami veshitahu ime janapada svriddha. Is it up there? Okay. Supak ime janapada svriddha supak vaushadi virudah vanadri nadyudanvanto. Queen Kuntī explains to Krishna, whatever fortune is seen in this world, dear Krishna, cities flourishing, trees getting green, full of fruits, leaves, flowers, all forms of prosperity flourishing in society. Oh Krishna, it's happening only because of your glancing. And now if you leave, not just your lotus feet, we will be bereft, devoid of your sweet, loving glance. So Krishna said to Queen Kuntī, there are so many people glancing. How does it matter if I am not there? Just like from a bag of mustard seeds, if one mustard seed falls out, what loss is there in the bag after all? So Krishna is speaking to Queen Kuntī and saying, what's so special about my glancing? There are so many people to glance. So Queen Kuntī explains, Bhagavad bhakti hinasya jati shastra japat tapa apranasya dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam. Queen Kuntī explains, all the citizens in our kingdom glancing, it's like ornaments on the body. Let's say one citizen glances at us, that's like the earrings, or the bracelets, or the waist bells, or the ankle bells, or the necklace, or the nose ring, the armlets. The glancing of different living beings in this world are like ornaments. They're certainly auspicious for us. But Queen Kuntī says, Krishna, your glancing is like the presence of the soul in the body. What is the use of the body which is bedecked with jewels, ornamented and decorated with so many different jewels? But if there's no soul in the body, apranasya dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam, the whole world will say the body looks beautiful with the ornaments only if the soul is present in the body. And the other part of the analogy is, even if there are no ornaments, but if the soul is there in the body is still beautiful. On the other hand, if you have all the ornaments and the soul is missing, what's the use of that body? Queen Kuntī said, our kingdom is the body. The glancing of all the living beings are like ornaments. But Krishna, your glance is the soul. Dear devotees, just like we discussed about the lotus feet, let's discuss about the glancing of Krishna. How sweet is Krishna's glancing? According to the Shastra, how does Krishna create this world? The Aitareya Upanishad describes, Sa Aikshata, he glanced. How did Krishna create the whole world? He glanced. So Krishna can create with his glancing. At the same time, Krishna can destroy with his glancing. Classic example. We can see when Krishna's friends, they drank the poisonous water of the Jamuna. What happened to them? In the Krishna book, we see this pastime when Krishna's friends drank the poisonous water of the Jamuna. They all fell unconscious. They were almost on the verge of death. In Sanskrit, it is called Jivana Sandhi. Sandhi means meeting. Jivana Sandhi means the meeting of life and death. So Krishna's friends were on that brink of death, completely unconscious, by drinking the poisonous water of Kaliya's presence in the Jamuna. How did Krishna kick out that poison? Krishna book explains, Krishna glanced on all his friends. And as Krishna glanced, he who can create the universe by his glance, he by his glance can also destroy the presence of poison in the life of the devotees. Another classic example of destruction through glance. Krishna entered the mouth of Aghasur, where all of Krishna's friends were completely knocked out. They were unconscious. The poison of Aghasur's breath, Bhagavatam describes, Aghasur was such a cannibal. He was actually a human being who could, at will, take the form of a snake. He was a cannibal. He would eat up everything that he comes across. So he ate up all of Krishna's friends. He didn't bite and chew into them, he just gulped and swallowed them once Krishna entered. So it's described by the heat of the poison, the acidity, the gastric acidity of Aghasur. It just caused death or unconscious presence for all the friends. And Krishna entered the mouth of Aghasur, and he who destroyed the poison of Kaliya in the body of his friends on the banks of the Jamuna, he destroyed the poison from the gastric fire of Aghasur's breath in the life of his friends while entering into Aghasur's mouth. So he can create this universe by glance. He can destroy poisonous anarthas through his glance. And between creation and destruction is the process of maintenance. Can Krishna maintain through his glance? And the answer is yes. Yat chakshur esha savita sakalagrahanam raja samasta suramurti Ashesha Teja. The sun and the moon are considered to be Krishna's eyes. The sun rays and the moon beams are Krishna's glance. Prabhasmi Shashi Suryayo. Srila Prabhupada would say, the practical way by which we can see Krishna in daily life is looking at the rays of the sun and the moon and saying, this is Krishna. Which means the sun and the moon are the eyes of Krishna, and the sun rays and the moon beams are Krishna's glance. And please tell me, who can survive? Which species can survive without the rays of the sun and the moon? We all need the sun and the moon. If it gets gloomy for a day or two, you can see our moods dip. We feel cranky, we feel like sleeping, we get more sluggish, we start procrastinating. When the sun rises, it's joyful, the birds start chirping. The animal kingdom, the plant, the flora, the fauna, everything is nourished by the sun rays and the moonbeams. So Krishna creates the universe by his glancing. Krishna maintains the creation by his glancing. And Krishna can destroy the poison, Kaliya and Aghasur, by his glancing. Now my question is, that same Krishna is standing as the deity. When we go and take darshan, when he can create by his glance, when we stand in front of the deity, can the deity create our good fortune by glancing on us? Yes or no? Can't the deity destroy the poison of anarthas in our heart, just like he did through his glance? And can't he maintain our spiritual life by his glance? The problem is, when we go in front of Krishna in the deity form, we think we are the seers. We go to see what dress has the pujari dressed the deity in today. I want to see how the flower garland is like. So we go with this pride that he is the seen, I am the seer. But Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya explains, it is the exact opposite. He is the seer, I am the seen. When we go in front of Krishna, when we stand in front of Jagannath, it's not that I am going to see him. Well, if I go to see him, it's going to be, I am going to see him see me. He's the seer, I am the seen. Now in English, when you say, did you go and see the doctor? What does that mean? Does it mean, did you go and actually see the doctor? But it actually means, did you go so that the doctor can see you, right? That's the English phrase of saying, did you see the doctor? Similarly, did you see the deities? Actually means, did you let the deities see you? This is the power of Krishna's glancing. Queen Kuntī speaks about Krishna's lotus feet, speaks about Krishna's glancing. And this reminds us, in the Mahabharata, Gandhari had tied her eyes. And when she opened her blindfold, what power could she have? Who remembers? What was the power in Gandhari's eyes? She could protect Duryodhan. And she had told Duryodhan, please come dressed in the 10 directions, which means without clothes, so that I, as the mother, can glance, and through my glancing, I can protect you, so that you will become ever victorious, undefeatable, insurmountable. But what did Krishna do? Krishna went and told Duryodhan, you're going to go like this in front of your mother? Gandhari, by the power of her glancing, she could make Duryodhan undefeatable. If this is the power in Gandhari's eyes and glancing, what to speak in the power of Krishna's glancing? He can make all of us ever victorious over Maya. But we must accept he is not a deity. He is Krishna. Pratima nahi tumi sakshat Brajendra Nandan. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the deity, he didn't say, oh Krishna, people say that you exist here. No, he was completely convinced. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to embrace Jagannath. This was his mood. Think about Muchukunda Maharaj. If Muchukunda Maharaj had the power, just by his glance, to burn down Kalayavan, what to speak of the glancing of Krishna? Can't he burn down the Kalayavana, the Shishupal, the Dantavakra, the Kamsa, the Ravana, the Hiranyakashipu in our hearts? Of course he can. When Muchukunda woke up from sleep and he burned Kalayavan to ashes, Kalayavan was powdered completely into ashes. Krishna came out at that time. And Muchukunda looked at Krishna and he told Krishna, "Who are you? My eyes are so effulgent that through my glancing I can burn anything and everything. But when I look at you, my eyes seem completely cold and pale. Who are you?" And then Muchukunda asks Krishna, "Are you the sun god? Are you Brahma? Are you Indra? Who are you?" Krishna could have gone on a rampage at that point. Wait a minute, you're asking me who I am? Na tad bhasayate suryo, na shashanko na pavaka, yadgatva na nivartante, tad dhamam paramam mama. Krishna could have gone on. Buddhir buddhir matamasmi, tejas tejas vinamaham. But he didn't do any of this. This teaches us a lesson. However well known we may be, if there is someone who doesn't recognize us, it's not an offense. Krishna, being the Lord of the whole creation, was asked by Muchukunda, who was the pure devotee. Krishna didn't ask Muchukunda, "After worshipping me for so many lifetimes, you're asking me who I am. Who did you worship then?" Krishna folded his palms and told Muchukunda, "Me? I am the son of Maharaj Vasudev. My name is Vasudev Krishna." The point in our discussion is Muchukunda had the power to burn Kalayavan. But looking at the eyes of Krishna, Muchukunda said, "My eyes go pale and cold. How powerful is your effulgence? Who are you?" So Queen Kuntī is saying, "Krishna, we will miss your glances." Dear devotees, in this world it is a known fact. This is really beautiful. How much we can learn from Mother Nature. The birds nourish their eggs by sitting on them, by touch. The tortoise, Mother Tortoise, she nourishes her babies just by thought. But underwater, the fishes nourish their babies by glancing. So if the fish can nourish its babies by glance, what to speak of Matsya Avatar fish glance? What to speak of the glancing of Krishna? What is that thing he can do with his glancing? The gopis are saying, "Sarasi jodhara shri mushadrisha suratanathate ashulka dasika." Oh Krishna, when we look at the petals of your lotus flower like eyelids, we have to say, "Sharad udashaye sadhu jata sat sarasi jodhara shri mushadrisha." So beautiful. The gopis of Vrindavan say, "Oh Krishna, in the autumn season, the ponds in the middle of the forest have pristine, serene, pure, fragrant, cold waters. In the autumn nights of Vrindavan, in the middle of the forest, which are thickly, densely covered with trees, there are ponds, sacred ponds, which have pristine, serene water. And in the middle of those lotus ponds, there are lotus flowers. And in the middle of those lotuses, the whirl have nectar. Oh Krishna, your glancing defeats the beauty of the nectar found in the whirl of the blue night blooming lotus flowers in the middle of the pristine serene water ponds in the middle of the forests of Vrindavan on the nights of the autumn season. This is the beauty of your eyes." Can you imagine that day when we are in Goloka Vrindavan and those eyes meet our eyes? Madhura madara bimbe, manjulam mandahase, shishiram amrita nade, sheetalam drishtipate, vipulam aruna netre, Vishrutam venunade marakatamani neelam balamalokayenu. Sripad Bilva Mangala Thakur, who had sacrificed his eyes, he prays, Vipulam Aruna Netre, O Krishna, your eyes are so wide and long that they almost kiss your ears, end to end. And when they blink, it's like the start of day and the end of day, and the start of night and end of night and start of day. It's like creation. And they are reddish in compassion. They are moist with affection. The eyeballs are so beautiful. The eyelashes curl with thick, glossy, natural textured hair. These eyes are the most beautiful eyes ever to exist. Therefore, Adharam madhuram vadanam madhuram nayanam madhuram hasidam madhuram hridayam madhuram gamanam madhuram madhuradhipater akhilam madhuram, O madhuradhipater akhilam madhuram. Srila Vallabhacharya Mahaprabhu, in his Madhurashtakam, he could have just said, Krishna, you're sweet. That's it. But he doesn't say that. He says, Nayanam madhuram. Srila Bilva Mangal Thakur has said, Madhuram madhuram vapurasya vibho, madhuram madhuram vadanam madhuram, madhugandhi mridusmitam etadaho, madhuram 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 madhuram. He says, Krishna, this world may seem to be sweet, but your form is sweeter. Your face is the sweetest. And then talking about your smile and your eyes, madhuram, 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 madhuram. This is not filling in the poetic blanks. This is ecstasy. So Bilva Mangal Thakur says, Krishna, your eyes are so beautiful. Sripad Baladev Vidyabhushan has also written. Vallabhacharya Mahaprabhu has also written. And what to speak of Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami when they describe Krishna's eyes. When Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes Krishna's eyes, that's another 7-day seminar, some other time. But for now, Queen Kuntī is speaking. And she says, Krishna, as much as we will miss the footprints of your lotus feet, we will miss the blinking of your eyelids and the soothing, cooling, rejuvenating rays of your glances. Then finally, as Krishna listens to Queen Kuntī very attentively, Krishna asks Queen Kuntī, you have said so many things to me in the last few minutes. What's the essence of your prayers? And Queen Kuntī summarizes her prayers in 3 verses. In text 37, 41 and 42. We can sing the 3 verses, 37, 41, 42. Atha Vishvesha Vishwatman Vishwamurte Swakeshu me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindi Dridam Pandushu Vrishnishu Tvai me Nanya Vishaya Matir Madhupate Sakrit Ratim Udvahata Tadha Gange Vaugham Mudanvati. With these 3 prayers, Queen Kuntī, she begs Krishna, concluding her prayers with only one thing. And that's the thing that we all should pray for too. And what is that? My Lord, may I have unending attachment to you. In my life, my Lord, may you be the first priority. Think how much the Acharyas prayed in this mood. Dhruva Maharaj comes in the middle of the forest with the desire to have a kingdom bigger than his father, grandfather, great-grandfather. And he stands, 5-year-old child, for 6 months, on the tip of his toes, hands raised up, chanting the holy name, controlling his breath, controlling his eating, controlling his intake. Goes from fruits to dry leaves, to water, and to breath, and then finally even holds on to breathing once in every 12 days. Controlling the whole creation. Why? Because he wanted a kingdom. When Sri Hari, Mahavishnu, appears before Dhruva Maharaj, and he says, ask for whatever you want, Dhruva Maharaj says, Sthana bhilashi tapasi sthitoham tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam kachan vichinvan api divya ratnam swamin kritarthosmi varam nayache. Oh dear Hari, I came in this forest. I came into this forest to perform tapasya, actually to find a kingdom. I wanted you so that I could ask you for a kingdom. It seems like I came for broken pieces of glass, but standing before me is a touchstone diamond. This touchstone diamond of your personality, my Lord, is difficult to be obtained even for the demigods. My Lord, Swamin Kritarthosmi Varam Nayache, if there's one thing you want to give me, Bhakti Muhu Pravahatam Tvaime Prasango Bhuyad Ananta Mahatam Amalashayanam Yenan Jasol Banamuru Vyasanam Bhavabdhim Nyeshe Bhavat Guna Kathamrita Panamatta. My Lord, the only thing I beg, Dhruva Maharaj prayed, don't give me any palace, don't give me any kingdom. Just give me attachment to you. May I serve you with all my heart. May I genuinely love you. May I express that love through service. May I never ask you anything in return. May I think about you with affection. May I serve you with affection. Oh dear Krishna, you have given me more than what I desire and deserve. I just want loving, devotional service to you. I don't want anything else. This was Dhruva Maharaj's prayer. This is Kuntī Devi's prayer. After all that Kuntī Devi has gone through, this is what she's praying. She only wants attachment to Krishna. I don't want anything else. Think about Namacharya Haridas Thakur. Here is a personality from a different background. And he takes up to the chanting of the holy name. He chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. He chants the holy name 300,000 times every day. 300,000 times every day, not in one lifetime. He's chanting continuously. He's keeping all allurements at bay. There have been so many attempts to bring blemish to his character, to make him fall from grace. But here is Haridas Thakur, just chanting Krishna's names. And what does he get in return? He gets whipped in 22 marketplaces. He gets whipped. And generally, when they would whip someone, by the time the third or the fourth marketplace would come in, the person would die. And here is Haridas Thakur alive, even after 22 marketplaces, and they would whip 100 whips in every marketplace. When they would drag Haridas Thakur, the whole street would be filled with his blood. Broken bones and skin peeled out of his body. And the tormentors would say, Haridas, die! If you don't die, our master will kill us, thinking that we have not done justice. Generally, people die by the third marketplace. I don't know how you're alive. And Haridas Thakur would say, oh, if I'm alive, you will be killed? No, I want you to be alive. I will die. And he who could not be killed by the whips in 22 marketplaces at will gave up his life. Now Namacharya Haridas Thakur's body, the Muslims were thinking, what do we do to this body? Some said, well, we'll bury him underground. The others said, no, he's been a bad practitioner. Therefore, you don't give him that fortune. Just burn him, cremate him in the fire like the Hindus do. So then it came to the Vaishnav community, the Hindus, and the Smartha Brahmanas said, no, he's been an outcast. He can't be given the glorious fortune of being cremated. So one camp said, you can't bury him. The other camp said, you can burn his body. Do what with him? They said, just get rid of his body. Throw him into the water. Let the fishes eat his body. And here is Haridas Thakur, whose body was just thrown into the Ganga. And he was just floating. The body floated and touched the bay, the other side, the banks. And he just came back to life. He came back to life and went straight to the king to preach to him about the holy name. And the king said, even after so many beatings, you're still alive. It certainly means you're a great soul. We were told you're dead. How is it possible that he rose from the dead? How is it possible? He must be a great saint, a great mystic. Let him go. This Haridas Thakur, who went through so much criticism, so much public insult. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Haridas, what is the only desire in your life? Haridas Thakur said, my Lord, I have been a very bad devotee. Please give me this good fortune that may I be attached to you. May I develop some genuine, affectionate attachment to your lotus feet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my only desire is, I know very soon you are going to wrap up your pastimes and leave this world. May I never see that day when you are not alive, not present in manifest presence, and I am still alive. I don't want to see that day. Please give me the fortune that I can leave before you. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very hesitant. Namacharya Haridas Thakur said, may I have this great fortune where your lotus feet can be placed on my chest. The bumblebees of my eyes can be attached to the lotus flower of your eyes. And may my tongue chant Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. And in the association of devotees, my dear Lord, chanting your holy names, give me the fortune that with great attachment in my heart, may I leave this world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fulfilled Namacharya Haridas Thakur's desire. He placed his lotus feet on the chest of Namacharya Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur held Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet to his chest, like the gopis desired to keep Krishna's lotus feet in their heart. Probably Haridas Thakur got this idea from Rupa Goswami because they lived together at Siddha Bakul. And Rupa Goswami, being a follower of the gopis, may have chanted Yatte Sujata Charanam Bruham Sthaneshu. So Haridas Thakur prayed, may I have your lotus feet to my chest. May my eyes be glued to your lotus face. May my tongue be chanting your holy name. And with deep, loving, devotional attachment and sentiments, may I leave this world, fulfilling the desire. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed Haridas Thakur. And when Haridas Thakur left this world, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted. Please everyone repeat. Jaya 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 Haridas. नामेर महिमा जार कोरिला प्रकाश. Whether it is Dhruva Maharaj, whether it is Haridas Thakur, whether it is Kuntī Devi, their only prayer in life, my Lord, may I be attached to you. Kunti Devi says, may my heart flow like the Ganga towards the ocean of your feet. Which means, even when there are obstacles in the flow of the Ganga makes her way with increasing speed and current. And anything and anyone who falls into the Ganga drags that person or that object to the destination. Which means Queen Kunti is praying, may I have the intensity like Ganga Devi to flow towards your lotus feet. Unconditional, uninterrupted and unmotivated. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself prayed for this. My Lord, may I be attached to your lotus feet. Mama janmani janmani ishware bhavatad bhakti rahaitu ki tvai. Dear devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he started displaying, exhibiting transcendental ecstatic symptoms, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started asking, where is my Krishna? Kaha mora prananath murali badan? Kaha jaun, kaha paun Brajendra Nandan? Where is my Krishna? Kwananda kula chandrama, kwashikhi chandra kalankriti, kwamandra murali rava, kwanu surendra nila dyuti, kwarasara satandavi, kwasakhi jiva rakshaushadhi, nidhir mama surittama, kwabata hadhikvidhi. Mahaprabhu would cry, Kwananda kula chandrama, where is my Krishna? The moon in the dynasty of Nanda Maharaj. Kwashikhi chandra kalankriti. Where is my Krishna? Whose face is like a full moon and who wears a turban of peacock feathers. Kwamandra murali rava. Where is my Krishna who plays the flute so beautifully? Mandra murali rava. Kwanu surendra nila dyuti. Where is my Krishna whose complexion is like a freshly formed rain-filled monsoon cloud? Where is my Krishna whose complexion is like a blue lotus flower floating in the Jamuna? Where is my Krishna whose complexion is like the tamal tree in the forests of Vrindavan? Where is my Krishna whose complexion is like the bluish black sapphire touchstone, the Indra Nilamani, the Ujjwala Nilamani? Where is my Krishna? Korasa rasa tandavi. Mahaprabhu cried, where is my Krishna, who is the hero of the Rasa Leela? Kwasakhi jiva rakshaushadi. Oh dear Sakhis, Mahaprabhu cried, where is my Krishna, the solution to all my problems? What is the problem? Separation. Nidhi mama surittama kobata hantaha dhikvidhi. Oh Brahma, if you had to take Krishna away from me, why did you even make me meet him first in the first place? In the mood of Radharani, Mahaprabhu is crying. So when Mahaprabhu would cry like this, he would tell Gadadhar Pandit, Gadadhar, please tell me where my Krishna is. Gadadhar would say, your Krishna is in your heart. Mahaprabhu immediately with his nails started scratching his chest to rip his chest. He didn't rip, but in an attempt to rip his chest to find Krishna, and Gadadhar immediately held Mahaprabhu's hand. Who is Gadadhar? Radharani. Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Krishna. Radharani goes through sentiments of trying to find Krishna, but in Gaura Leela, Radharani is witnessing Krishna go through the pangs of Radharani's separation and finding Krishna. Sometimes people ask this question, if Radharani has already come in this world as Radha and Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then why does Radharani again come as Gadadhar Pandit? The answer is, when someone is not experienced in driving a car, do you give them the car just whole and soul, you drive it? Would we do that? No. There's always an experienced driver in the passenger seat. So the car called Krishna Prem, which has the highest speed possible, Krishna wanted to drive that car without any experience. Krishna had no driving experience of driving the car called Krishna Prem. So he sat just by the qualification of his desire. So Radharani appeared as Gadadhar Pandit on the passenger seat just to make sure that Krishna drives this vehicle of Krishna Prem, Anubhava, the experience of Krishna Prem properly. Therefore, Gaur and Gadadhar are worshipped together. So when Gadadhar Pandit stopped Mahaprabhu from scratching and hurting himself, Shachi Mata saw from a distance. Just like Mother Yashoda would see Radha and Krishna in their childhood, and Mother Yashoda thought, in the future, I hope they can be together. Similarly, that Mother Yashoda in the form of Shachi Mata from behind the pillar saw Gadadhar Pandit and Gauranga Mahaprabhu and called Gadadhar and said, promise me you will always be with my son, because the way you pacified him by holding his hand and stopping him from ripping and hurting himself, there's nobody else who can do that. Gadadhar, always be with Mahaprabhu. What did Mahaprabhu exhibit through this? Extreme attachment to Krishna. Dear devotees, Kunti Devi is begging for this. Deep, unparalleled attachment over everything else. She's saying, may I forget even my family members, but Krishna, may I never forget you. Dear devotees, this is the conclusion of Kunti's prayers. And when she is not able to speak anything more, comes text 43, the last verse of Kunti's Stuti. Let us chant this verse and in about 5 minutes discuss the purport. This is the last verse of the heartfelt, explosive, volcanic effusion from Kunti Devi's heart, where when Namaha, Namaha, Namaha fails, the holy name steps ahead. She does Nam Sankirtan at the end because she understands all my desires can be fulfilled by chanting the holy name. Nama Sankirtanam yasya sarva papa pranashanam pranamo dukkhashamanastam namami harim param. The conclusive verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 13, Text 23, is also the conclusive verse in the same mood of chanting the holy name as the last verse of Kunti Stuti. So let's chant this verse and have a very, very brief discussion. Shri Krishna Krishna Sakha Vrishrisha Bhavani Drig Rajanya Vamsha Dahanana Pavarga Virya Govinda Godvija Surarthi Haravatara Yogeshwara Khila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Queen Kunti is chanting so many names. She says Shri Krishna. Please everyone chant. Shri Krishna. She says Shri Krishna. Huh? And after that she says Krishna Sakha. Now here the word Krishna refers to Arjun. Why? Because Queen Kunti understands Arjun Pandav, her son, would never shoot an arrow without Krishna's approval. So every time Arjuna shoots an arrow, it's actually Krishna shooting an arrow. And he who's completely surrendered to Krishna, well, you can as well call him Krishna. So Krishna, Shri Krishna, you are the Sakha, the friend of my son, Arjun, who is also Krishna. So Shri Krishna, Krishna Sakha. And then Vrishni Rishabha. You are the best among the Vrishni dynasty. Now the next name is one whole name. Avani Drig Rajanya Vamsha Dahana Anapavarga Virya. Very, very beautiful. What does it mean? Avani Drig. Avani Drig means those who trouble Avani. Avani is Mother Earth. Those who cause harm to Mother Earth, Rajanya Vamsha, the unsaintly family of so many asuras, Dahana, Apavarga Virya. Krishna, you have unending strength to destroy and burn down the families of those unsaintly kings who are causing harm to Mother Earth. Krishna, you are Govinda. Go, Dvija, Sura, Arthi, Haravatara. Such a beautiful Sanskrit term. Go means cows, Dvija means Brahmanas, Sura means demigods, and Arthi means distress. Hara means to take away, Avatar means descending. Krishna, you descend to take away the distress of cows, brahmanas and demigods. O Yogeshwara, Akhila Guru, O Bhagavan, Namaste. All these names are generic, but there's a special meaning in reference to Queen Kuntī. We will explain how. Sri Krishna refers to Queen Kuntī, till now has always referred to Krishna. But when Krishna doesn't listen to your prayers, you have to invoke Srimati Radharani. So it's almost like Queen Kuntī is invoking the Ladini Shakti by adding Shri first. That if it is Dwaraka, then Rukmini Devi. It is Brindavan, then Radharani. If it is Ayodhya, then Sita Devi. If it is Vaikuntha, then Lakshmi. If the Lord doesn't listen to our prayers, then we go to the Ladini Shakti. If the father doesn't listen to our thing, then we go to the mother. So Queen Kuntī invokes Shri. Then she says, you are Krishna Sakha, which means Arjuna always listens to me. Then why not you? Vrishni Rishabha. Vrishni Rishabha means everybody in the Yadu dynasty and Vrishni dynasty, they are very dear to me and they consider me to be saintly and the advanced. They listen to me. And if you are the best in the family, you have to listen to me and stay here with me. Then Avanidrig Rajanya Vamsha Dahanan Apavargavirya. If you can take away the distress of Mother Earth, who is a woman, why not take away my distress, who is also a woman? Govinda. The word Govinda in this context, Go means prayers and Vinda means satisfaction. He who is satisfied when devotees offer prayers. Queen Kuntī says, your name is Govinda, which means you become very joyful when devotees offer prayers. I have offered a prayer. Please accept my offering. Godvija Surarti Haravatara. You are taking away the distress of cows. You are taking away the distress of brahmanas. And you're taking away the distress of demigods. Which means you're taking away distress of people above me and below me. Then what about me? Yogeshwara. Yogeshwara means he who meets. Yoga, yujyate. My Lord, always stay with us. Akhila Guru. If you still don't listen to me, you are the Guru ultimately. I am like your disciple. I am begging you. If that is also not fine, Bhagavan, you are the Supreme Lord. I am the devotee. Namo Namaste. Now at least listen to me and don't leave me. When Queen Kuntī offers these prayers, dear devotees, Shukdev Goswami describes, Sutta Goswami describes, at the end of Kunti's prayers, Krishna looked at Kuntī Devi eye to eye and smiled with satisfaction. Srila Prabhupada explains, if Krishna can smile at us just once, our life is successful. Now the question is, how do we make Krishna smile at us? Prabhupada explains, if we bathe our deities, decorate our deities, and offer one flower with love, then Krishna in the form of the deity smiles at the worshipper. So all of us, if we have deities, and if we bathe the deities, we worship the deities and offer one flower with affection, then that Krishna will smile at us. And having Krishna's smile is the essence of everything. As we conclude today's discussion, dear devotees, I would like to tell you the last story of this series. And then after that, I want to beg for all of your blessings in the fact that it's very easy to sit here and blabber, I would say. It's very easy, but it's very, very difficult to have our heart resonate in consciousness with these prayers. So I would beg for your prayers. But one last story before we wrap up about Krishna's smiling, Krishna's laughter. One time in Vrindavan, Krishna's dear friend Madhumangal, who has a big belly, who is a Brahmana, who loves laddus, Madhumangal was running with Balaram as children, and they were playing with Kadamba flower balls. Balaram had a Kadamba flower and he was throwing it at Madhumangal, and Madhumangal had a Kadamba flower and he was throwing it as a ball at Balaram, and they were running, playing hide and seek, and they were playing, they were catching, they were running They were playing with each other. And at one point, Balaram has so much stamina, so he kept running. But Madhumangal, he started gasping. And it's described because of his weight, he couldn't run. So he ran for some time and he started gasping. So he started breathing with an open mouth. And at that time, Krishna looked at Balaram. And Balaram looked at Krishna. And Balaram said, now is the time. Balaram took the kadamba flower ball and aimed for Madhumangal's mouth. And threw that kadamba flower ball and it went straight into Madhumangal's mouth. And looking at this, Madhumangal, how did this come? He was thinking. And Krishna started slapping his thigh and clapping. And he started smiling and laughing with so much innocence. Dear devotees, it is described. With Krishna's smile and Krishna's laughter, the trees of Vrindavan became green. The lotus flowers started blossoming. Yamuna started flowing with so much joy. The clouds started to dance. The demigods were stunned. Radharani was ecstatic. Dear devotees, it was almost like Krishna was laughing at Maya that you are trying to trap devotees in this world. Ha! My pastimes are so powerful. When someone listens to them, oh Maya, what power do you have? Having said this, dear devotees, Krishna smiled to Kunti Devi and accepted all these beautiful 26 prayers that she offered that we had the fortune to go through in the last few days. As we conclude, we offer our obeisances of gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, who gave this as a gift to all of us. All night long, he would record and dictate on his dictaphone. However powerful, however hectic his time schedule used to be, Prabhupada still woke up at 1 o'clock at night to give us the Bhaktivedanta purports, to give us the books, to give us the prayers of Queen Kunti, the teachings of Queen Kunti that we have today. So let us all say one loud Hare Krishna Mahamantra in gratitude to Srila Prabhupada. I offer my obeisances to all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj, and all the initiating gurus and all my superiors, all the Vaishnavas, everyone present here, everyone not be present here, everyone who's watching us online, to everyone who has been coming, I offer my obeisances. Whatever mistakes I have committed in the last 7 days, please kindly forgive me, pray for me. If there's something that I said touched your heart, please pray for me that may I follow those principles in my life. And if there's something that was incorrect, something that was inappropriate, let's say I said something which was a mistake, like a white swan which takes milk and leaves behind the water, may all of you forgive me, leaving behind my mistakes, only accepting that I am like your insignificant servant coming here to serve you. May all of you be pleased.